got $100, maybe I should just try $10. Save 90 for later. Even though I don't need the 90, I'm happy to burn that 90. Let me leave 90 for later. And that gets you into practice, right? Where it's like, okay, I choose when I want to go in, but I also choose how much I want to put in, even though I have all of this money to burn, right? But I'm not going to burn it in one go. I'm going to burn it slowly. It's like, you know, you're trying to light a stove, right? You're at a campsite, you've got $100 and you've got no twigs, no sticks, nothing, right? So you've got nothing to burn. Honestly, for the love of crypto, for the love of your favorite projects, right? For the love of decentralization, you need to understand what I'm about to say right now. So I'm sure you have heard many times I talked about how we have like over 1 million different type of cryptocurrency. Of course, a lot of them are on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko or whatnot. A lot of them are not, right? In fact, majority of them are not, right? If we look at the numbers, then vast majority are not on those market caps. So, but we know there are thousands, right? If not, you know, they're close to like 40-50,000 on the thing. Anyway, the point here, what I'm trying to make is, of course, we have these really good projects who have been around for a long time, right? And they've established themselves for many years now, right? So all the bull markets that we've had, they've kind of been through it. So these coins have survived the bull markets, the pumps, and then of course survived the bear market as well. So they didn't exit. That kind of gives us a little bit of trust. It's like, okay, the project is still continuing. They're still continuing to do what they promised to do. They're building or developing or upgrading, whatever needs to be done. They're constantly working on it. And that's a good thing for any project, right? When I look at projects and I see they're trying to innovate and kind of match with the current situation in the market or current technology, it's a good thing. So that's what these guys are doing, and I'm really happy about this, right? And I'm not specifically talking about any coin. Remember what I just said, right? There's over 1 million different cryptocurrency right now, and there's about 30, 40, maybe 50,000 on the CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, whatever you call it, that we can track, which have been picked, right? Others are just floating around. No one even knows about them. But there are communities who are going and buying and selling those whenever they wish to. So that is already happening, right? So this is one of the reasons why we're not going to pick on any one of them, because what I'm about to say applies to every one of them, right? So we know the markets have a cycle and they pump and they dump, right? And sometimes we have a mini cycle within that cycle, and sometimes we have a cycle within that cycle. And in fact, a lot of times we have cycles within those cycles, right? So you could have 10 cycles within a cycle. And what I mean by that is you can have different time frames and a different cycle within that time frame. So it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at your weekly candles, you have one cycle. If you're looking at your daily, you have one cycle. Your 12-hourly, you have one cycle, and so on and so forth, right? So based on those, we always track the support and resistance zones, right? So we, you know, for us to be bullish or bearish, we need to look at the support and resistance zone and, you know, kind of understand what the market's about to do. Of course, when we're close to the resistance on the upper level, right? Or if we're doing a new all-time high, then of course we need to create new supports, right? So the thing is when we're close to resistance, we can expect dumps, because we know that this resistance needs to be broken, and hence why we call it resistance, right? And then same applies on the bottom when we have a support where the, you know, market can go up to a certain level, the low it can go to, and then we need to hold that in order to not go any further, right? But the other thing that you have to notice is when some major cryptocurrencies, or even news, right? But whatever, we're not going to talk about news here, we're just going to talk about cryptocurrency. When some major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum or whatnot, right, when they dump a specific percentage, right, what you'll notice is the entire market dumps as well. Now, this applies, it just doesn't apply to BTC, like, oh, Bitcoin dumped, so everything's going to dump. Actually, in reality, Ethereum also has the power to drag Bitcoin, right? And of course, on the flip side, what we have to look at is, you know, how much more, you know, when you look at Ethereum to BTC or Ethereum to anything, right? Or BTC to anything, right? That's a different maths. I'm not even going in that one. That's a different maths, right? But when we're looking at fiat currency, it's pretty amazing how any coin, it doesn't matter what it is, right, can actually end up dumping the market. I mean, the last significant dump that we had was from Luna. Luna is not BTC. Luna is not Ethereum. Luna didn't have 20% of the market share. Luna didn't have 50% of the market share like BTC does, right? But Luna was able to dump the market. So can you imagine? So I'm not even going to go to the others that have scammed and whatnot and rugged, and I'm not going to talk about those. But that's just an example how a coin can end up causing the entire market to drop. Now, when the market drops, we have two types of people, right? Or two states of mind. A lot of people will be super bearish, hence why we'll see the fear and greed index. Fear just keeps on dropping. People are very fearful, and this is because a lot of people do not have an emotional control or a control over how much they invest. Because a lot of people, like myself, and I've done it many times, and I still do it, by the way, go all in. Right, I have this attitude. I'll go all in. If I like something, I'll go all in. So hence why a lot of people, they're playing with money they actually need, right? So they don't have that financial management. And that makes them very fearful. So a lot of people who are fearful end up pulling out of the market. If they lost 10%, 20%, whatever, they end up pulling out with the hopes of buying it later. But fear is such a thing. It's amazing, right? Fear is actually, if you understand fear, it's really, really amazing. So fear ends up for you to wait to buy lower. But when it gets even lower, you are still fearful because you think it's going to go even lower, right? So that causes an effect where you end up not buying, and then eventually if you did ever want to come back, you'd probably come back in higher than the price you sold for in the first place. So it's a common situation that happens a lot, especially happens with people who do not have self-control or who haven't trained themselves, right? I'm not going to say, oh, you didn't have applicable training. You're not a professional, right? Let's just get that out of the way, right? Nobody in crypto, right? Maybe a handful of people. Nobody in crypto entered from a professional background. So you're not professionally trained, full stop, right? Professionally trained means people who have zero emotions, right? They have absolutely no emotion whatever. I mean, they will stand there, like something bad could happen to someone, they would just stand there like a zombie. That's a professional, right? You're not a professional zombie, right? So, you're human, and you have emotions, and, the market works with that. Of course, you can have levels of control and then control how you enter that. So, for example, if you had $100 to play with, if you can control your emotions and, control your finance in a way that you can actually say, okay, actually, I've got $100. Maybe I should just try $10. Save 90 for later. Even though I don't need the 90, I'm happy to burn that 90. Let me leave 90 for later. And that gets you into practice, right? Where it's like, okay, I choose when I want to go in, but I also choose how much I want to put in, even though I have all of this money to burn. Right? But I'm not going to burn it in one go. I'm going to burn it slowly. It's like, you're trying to light a stove, right? You're at a campsite. You've got $100 and you've got no twigs, no sticks, nothing, right? So you've got nothing to burn. If you burn the entire $100 to light up your stove, right? To heat up your stove or water, whatever, the $100 will burn in one go. That's your fire done and dusted in one go. However, if you put a single note, right? If you put a single note and burn that at a time, then your fire actually lasts longer. So the duration lasts longer. Just think about it that way. So you are burning notes after all, but you're burning them and you're prolonging the time. Think of it that way, right? So of course, the market recently dumped, and the probability of it dumping even further is very high, right? Every time we talk about this, once we break a certain support level, we can break and fall below, right? Until we find an area where we have a strong support. So currently we broke a weak support, right? So that's fine, but we do have strong support below. So let's see where we go from there. And I'm not going to give you numbers here, by the way. We're not talking about numbers. Just talk about the logic behind what's going on right now. So you want to buy some coins, you've looked at some coins, or you've thought about some coins, or you missed some coins, right? You've picked something out of a million coins, right? I don't expect you to go and pick up the entire million coins and put $100 in on a million coins. That's just stupid, right? Unless you have a serious amount of money. However, you've picked 10, 15, 20 coins, right? And you've probably picked them right now, or you picked them 6 months ago, or maybe a year ago, maybe 5 years ago, right? So it doesn't matter. But you are bullish based on news or information, or just because you like the project. Maybe you just like the founder, right? You just like the way the founder is, right? It doesn't matter. Maybe you just do, right? Like I like Elon Musk, right? I don't think much of anything else, but I like him. I like his character, right? It's funny. So think about it that way. So you just like the project. You want to go and invest. Market has dumped, right? So this is a scenario where you could start to enter with your 100, right? And start to take small portions and pump it in, right? Like, put $10 in or whatever. I'm just giving you $100 to round it up, right? So you put $10 in. That's all you do. You just put $10 in. Maybe the market dumps a little bit more, because we do expect it to dump a little bit more. You put another $10 in. Maybe the market dumps a little bit more. You put another $10 in. But you're controlling how much you're putting in. Remember, you're controlling that burn, right? Of course, the burn is good, everything's good, but now the market starts to move up again. Well, it's fine. You can also start putting $10 in, because remember, you wanted to burn this, so you burn this in a particular way, right? Also known as DCA, by the way, so cut the long story short. The point is you start dollar cost averaging into these coins. Now, you might turn around and say, well, and this is what's happened recently, right? And I'm not annoyed. Believe me, I'm happy that people are asking, and I'm happy that I'm making this video in reaction to that, so that other people can also get the benefit, right? And understand a little bit, right? So, for the love of crypto, if you have favorite coins, or coins that you missed, or you want to top up or do whatever, right? You start dollar cost averaging or buying into it whenever the market dips. And I know a lot of people might say, well, buy the dips, buy the dips. No, there are ways of buying the dips, and there are ways of not buying the dips, right? Not every dip you buy, right? Not every coin that dips you buy, right? Also, when you look at the entire market, understand where the market is. So what I mean by that is, if the entire market has dumped by 10%, then every single coin has the same effect, right? If the entire market dumped by 50%, then every single coin has the same effect. So it doesn't matter what coin you pick up, right? So all of you guys over there who have your favorite coins that you want to pick up, or maybe you're holding, or maybe you're down a little bit, well, now is your opportunity, right? Of course, this is not a financial advice. I'm not giving anybody any financial advice. I mean, do whatever you want to do. But this is what I would do, right? And this is what I'm planning to do, and this is what I'm actually already doing. Now, of course, when I'm already doing this, there's a few points I need to make here. So, someone like myself and many others that I know as well, we've been in the game quite some time, right? I myself have been in the game since 2015, end of 2015 or middle of 2015, like last half of 2015. I know other people who have been in the game since 2016, 2017, 2018, right? So this is the latest, the earliest I know. And then a lot of new people that I know have been in it from 2020. So for me, all I'm going to say is this, right? So for all of us guys, we've seen coins at ridiculously low prices. And even then, there are some coins that we've never touched. A perfect example of that is back in 2016, end of 2016, Ethereum was a few dollars. And a friend of mine, he bought a few £1,000 worth of Ethereum. And he said, just buy £100 worth and just leave some, right? A few dollars, right? That I would have got like 50, 60 coins for £100 or something like this, right? But the point is I didn't understand it. I didn't know it. I'm a Bitcoin bull. I want to buy Bitcoin, right? So that's what I did. I didn't really see or trust Ethereum at that time. I mean, it's fresh. It's 2015. It just came out. What's it trying to do? Replace something else? I mean, what's going on here? This 19-year-old kid? Come on, right? So for me, it was hard, right? For me, it was hard. And at that time, I didn't know much about Charles Hoskinson or Gavin Wood or any one of these people. I didn't know much about anyone. I didn't even bother researching. I was like, what's the point? I don't care who these are. Because on the media, all I'm seeing is a 19-year-old kid. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, seriously, guys, right? So I didn't touch Ethereum. However, later on, we've had projects like Cosmos, Atom, and this and that. I jumped on board straight away. You know, BNB jumped on board straight away, right? So when other projects started to come out back in like 2017, beginning like the first half of 2017, they were doing ICOs and whatnot. Projects were coming out, jumped on board. Even EOS from day one of launch, right? They used to do the, of course, it was like kind of an auction. It wasn't an auction, but they open up slots and you go there and you bid and you get as many coins as you can. We did that. So when you're looking at certain projects or certain coins or founders or whatnot, there are a lot of them that I trusted, right? And I've bought at that time and bought them for very cheap, right? And I still have some of them. From back then, I still have some of them. Now, why do I still have some of them? I'll tell you why. First of all, they are not a significant amount, right? I'm talking about, you know, a few hundred to a few $1,000s worth at that time. Currently, they may be worth a little bit more, but it's not a significant amount that you can retire on. So you're like, leave it. And by leaving it, what I've noticed is a lot of these projects have always, you know, pumped and then gone back down. But most times they haven't gone back down to the levels that we bought it at. So you're still in profit. And then you get to see how a lot of these projects, and I'll tell you about profit as well, by the way, how a lot of these projects have, you know, they're still developing, they're still building, they have a massive team behind them. And all of that makes me happy. It's like, okay, you know, once, maybe at some stage, we're going to get to a point where we need to filter out how many shitcoins we have, right? And that's going to happen at some stage. And when that happens, the top gems are going to shine. And now, I want to talk about profit. Now, another reason why a lot of these projects, right, even though back in the days we bought them for very cheap, we haven't taken any profits, right? I haven't, or other people that I know haven't taken any profits. Haven't taken everything out or sold at the top. Is because when the market started to pump, a lot of the people ended up taking the initial investments out, including myself. So because I've already taken my initial investment out, nothing else matters. So for me, my balance is zero. Yes, I haven't made profit technically, right? Because I haven't taken it out. Because you remember, you only in profit when you cash out. Until you cash out, it's nothing, right? So in my case, the numbers may be great in the balance sheet, right? But if I don't cash it out, I haven't really made any money, in my opinion, right? But at the same time, it hasn't hurt me either, because I've already taken my initial out. So the funds that I have remaining now are actually purely from the profit money if I took it. So if I take it out now, it's 100% profit for me. So it doesn't matter if it's $1, if it's $10, if it's $100, it's freaking profit, right? So that's a strategy that I always play as well, right? You know, anytime the market pumps to a certain level, I'll pick it up. Now, when I top up, I want to talk about topping up, right? So a lot of the times you probably hear me topping up a certain project. What you have to understand is when I'm topping up, I try my best, my level best, and it's very rare that I actually top up from fresh funds, right? What I mean by that is I'm not going outside, earning money, whatnot, you know, hustling, whatever, right? You know what I mean, right? And bringing funds fresh, right? Non-stop, every month, every year, whatever you want to call it, whatever time frame, and pumping it into the thing without ever taking anything out. That's stupid. I don't do that. What I do when I'm topping up is, if I've made significant gains in a particular project that I like, what I'll do is I'll take, you know, the initial investment out and I'll reinvest that. So I'll keep that money circulating. The idea is I need to keep on making it circulate. So that way I'm not being hurt. When the market dumps, it doesn't affect me much. And of course, I also try and make an initiative of taking at least 10, 15, 20% extra, right, on these coins as well when these have popped significantly. Reason is I want to feel good. I need to pay bills. You know, I've got expenses. So where am I going to get the money for the expenses? Does that make sense, right? So for me, I have a life. I've got to live, right? I'm a minimalist, but the point is I still got to take some money out. That's my expenditure money. I've invested money. I need to make some money back. So what I tend to do is whenever I take my initial out, I always trying to take another 10-15% of money out as well. So that way, or like profit basically. And then I could reinvest that. So the idea is I've got my initial that I'll reinvest, but I also have another 10-15-20% that I could reinvest into other alts as well. So hence why I can grow the portfolio. Now, sometimes I will end up losing money. Like I'll buy something fresh, I'll reinvest, and I'm down 90%, right? Because the coin just didn't perform, or the market had some sort of a flash crash or whatever, right? So I end up losing money. Because I don't put all my eggs in one basket, and I'll explain this, what I mean by that, right? So say, I'm just going to give you an example here. Say I took $1,000 and that's my initial investment, $1,000. I put $1,000 into some coin and it made me money. You know, probably I did it in the bull market or whatever, when everybody's making money, right? I made some money and I took myself 10%, 20% more, right? $200 more as profit. So I've got $1,200. I've taken the $1,200, I've reinvested it into something else, but I've only done the 1,000. I've still got my $200 remaining, and I'm going to try to do this at least 5 times. So now I have $2,000 to play with. But again, my $2,000 that I have, I'm keeping, not like whenever I reinvest, I'm always reinvesting that 1,000. So any extra profits I've got, I'm keeping that separate. That's sitting on another account. Why? Because that's my fallback. Because the last thing you want to do is invest, and take nothing. Sell your house, sell your car, sell your life, whatever, sell your kidney, and actually have all of it going down a black hole. That's the last thing you want. So you need a fallback, a backup. You know, not everybody's going to go McDonald's and make 50K. No, it doesn't happen, right? So let's talk about this, right? So end of the day, what you got to do is you got to have this backup. So when you have this backup, when shit hits the fan, and in my case, it has hit me a few times recently, right? Last couple of years has been really bad for me, financially devastating, completely. Believe me, in my place, if there was other people, I wouldn't be surprised if the thoughts have come through my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if someone jumped off a building. That's how bad it's been, right? Mentally, emotionally, it's just been so bad. And even like, so for me, it's been bad because I had a fallback and I jumped on my fallback and I tapped into that and I've used it. But because I was emotionally messed up, I think I didn't use it the right way. By not using the right way, and by the way, this is not to do with crypto, right? A little bit, but not too much, right? I was making payments. So what's happened is I'm trying to pay for something to be done for me, right? A project. I'm paying for a project, right? I don't want to mention anything. This video is not related to that. But the point is I'm funding a project. So I end up losing money. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to jump on and I'm going to do it again, right? Because I need to complete this project. So I'm funding even more. And I end up losing my initial investment for that project. And then I end up losing my crypto kitty. Yeah, crypto kitty. I'm not talking about the NFT. But I end up losing my crypto backup funds as well, because I'm now tapping into that because that's the only available funds I had. All my other funds are already in crypto and they're already down, right? Or I've just reinvested into crypto and I'm waiting for the market to come up. So I was in a massive dilemma. I was like, whoa, what do I do now? I need funds in the real world, which I don't have anymore because I've now sold all the other altcoins I've had and all the other USDT and whatever I had, right? Got rid of all of them. I needed to come back to GBP. I've done my GBP and I'm screwed there. Any other crypto that I was going to buy, I can't buy anymore. So the only crypto I have already bought, that's the only ones I got. Now, if I sell them, then I missed an opportunity. So I had to make a decision. I was like, right, I got to put a stop to this. So I literally put a full stop. I said, right, what I've lost, I've lost. You know? There's no point crying over spilt milk. What I've lost, I've lost. It's not coming back. So I'm not going to even talk about it anymore. Now I need to move on and, you know, look forward and do whatever needs to be done. So that's what I did. You know, I don't want to, I almost went into it, but I don't want to talk about it, right? So that's what I did. But the point is look, guys, when the market starts to dump, now I'm seeing an opportunity. For me right now, I'm in a better state of mind, right? And I'm thinking, well, do you know what? There are some coins out there which only week and a half ago would have cost me $200 to buy. I'm just giving a rough example. Say, just for the sake of it, say, you know, $200 to buy something, right? I was going to pay $200 to buy a specific quantity, or let's just say $1,000 to buy a certain quantity. Now I could spend $700 to buy the same quantity. So the market's giving me a 30% opportunity, right? And there are coins out there with 20-30% drawbacks. So I'm getting myself an opportunity. What should I do? So I've made a logical decision. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to break my funds that I have. And instead of putting it all in and buying this one dip, maybe what I need to do is put 10%, 20% or 30% of that fund, buy it in, like, you know, 10 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals, right? Whatever I do, I need to buy it in an incrementally, so I don't burn all the funds in one go. However, if the market starts to pump, then so if the market pumps, right, I'm going to have to just leave it and continue with what I've got, and move on, right, with the market, or just do one last drop while the market pumps back up again and then move on, right? You know what I mean? So one of those kind of things, like, you know, I've got to make that decision to see what I need to do and how I need to do it. So that's what I'm thinking anyway, right? So that's just kind of my thought process right now. Now, when it comes to topping up, also, I want to top up some coins. And the ones I'm going to be trying to top up are going to be like the top tier ones, right? So again, out of the thousands and thousands of coins out there, I'm going to try and stick to the, like, on Coin Market Cap, first 2 pages. That's a lot of coins. That's 200 coins. I'm going to pick my gems out of that. And even then, I know we can't resist it sometimes, right? Because when you see all that discount, right? Even then, I'm only going to pick coins where I can see that, okay, they have good updates, or they have a good team behind it. They have a good development behind them. Like, for example, the one that I haven't given up yet is Cardano, right? A lot of development going on there, right? And a new one, right, which doesn't even have a coin, Base doesn't even have a coin. So there are interesting things out there. You just got to see what's going on and, you know, kind of be ready for it. So I'm ready for Base, but I don't know if Base is ever going to launch a coin. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. However, Base is using Optimism, so maybe Optimism might have a pump, and it's already on my list anyway, so let's see what it does. So a lot of interesting things are going to happen. We are going to have, like, some of the old golden oldies, right? They will still be there. Whether they're going to pump to the new all-time highs, I don't know. And I'm not even taking much chances on them, because the reason is I already hold some from last season, right? You know, I've taken my initial out. I've got some from the last season, so I'm going to hold on to those. I'm going to be looking at some of the newer ones, especially the ones where I can see a lot of value proposition, a lot of transactions happening, because it's all about transaction data. I need to know, are people using these protocols? So if I see a protocol that is being used quite a bit, like Base, for example, being used quite a bit, then for me, that's a plus point. So I want to be on that as well. Now, I know a lot of scam projects are now using Base, hence why there's a lot of things going on. I'm sure Coinbase will fix that, as they only have one fucking, excuse my language, but one validator node. Seriously? Seriously? Okay, whatever. You know, one point of failure. But anyway, you know what? I'll give it to them. I'm sure they can, if they've managed to keep Coinbase secure all these years, then I think they can also keep Base safe, you know, with one node. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting fact. But other than that, guys, understand this. These are the golden opportunities. And as I said, for the love of crypto, if you have your favorite coins, you need to start DCAing. Obviously, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, because that's what I would do. That's what I'm doing as well. And when you do pick your gems, find the ones that most people are using. Find the one that having the most development, right? Regardless whether it has a coin or not. Find those ones. Those are the targets you need to have, because those kind of announcements, news and all of that, they also affect the project as well, right? Bitcoin will always be Bitcoin. I mean, if anybody comes to me and says to me, what's that one coin that I should buy? I will still say Bitcoin. If they say, well, what if Bitcoin goes to $1, you know, from today, if it goes down to $1, would you still recommend it? Yes, I will still recommend Bitcoin. The sole reason is Bitcoin may not have the biggest developer community anymore, right? It's the most decentralized. It's the most decentralized. Think about that. Bitcoin nodes, right? Or we don't have nodes, but anyway, similar to nodes, right? Well, it is a node, but anyway, the point is it runs on your laptop if you choose to. If you want to run the Bitcoin blockchain, you can run it on your laptop. That's how you decentralize it. It's not, I mean, some people are using centralized servers, but you don't have to use centralized servers for it. You can literally use your computer resource to actually mine it. That's what makes it different. That's what makes it really good. So that's what it is. That's what I would recommend, that one coin. And then if people ask me for the other coin, I would say, well, then wait for it, because I haven't launched it yet. I'm joking. But yeah, it's true. I haven't launched it yet. We are working on something, but whatever we're working on is nothing extraordinary. I'm just going to be honest about it. We are going to be launching a token, right? So we're not launching a blockchain. Maybe in the future we might consider making it into a blockchain. That's a different story. But again, it depends on how many users, how many community members come on. For us, in the beginning, it's just going to be more like a decentralized application, and with the token connected to it. That's about it. Because one of the things is we're not launching, how do you call this? Like, you know, a lot of the projects, they get a lot of funding from these big companies. And I've got a feeling these projects, these so-called projects getting funding from big companies. I don't think that's the case. I think the big companies are not funding it, are launching these, right? It's all a scam, right? I think it's all a scam. These big boys, they've learned how to make money out of these, you know, these shill scams. So I don't think a lot of these guys are getting $100 million from someone. No, I think the $100 million is just fake, right? You know, these big VC venture capital firms are just scamming people. They're the ones who are launching all of these coins. They've just figured out how to do it, right? Because nobody knows who you are. So that's what they're doing. So we're not doing VC, we're not doing venture capital. We are doing community venture. That's a different one, right? Community venture is different. We are going to be doing that, and a lot of other ways to get the community involved. But other than that, it should be pretty awesome. And of course, the more community we can build, the bigger we can build the project, right? And even for funding, for example, we've got 2 methods of funding. So, you know, I mean, 3 methods technically, because in the beginning it's going to be self-funded. It is already being self-funded, and we've burnt a lot of money there. And then for the community, we've got 2 options. We're going to be having, like, you know, people can donate to get it developed. There's going to be a wallet where they can donate and do whatever from there. Again, we haven't published anything. We're not collecting funds from anyone. And then the other one would be people can actually go and provide liquidity and kind of earn from that. So it's all like, nothing is set in stone. You know, we're still going to decide on what to do and what not to do. So that's a different one. But other than that, I'm not going to take your time. But as I said, for the love of crypto, pick your coins, stick to your coins, you know, whatever you do, DCA, whatever you do, right? But remember, every dump is an opportunity, and it could dump further. But make a calculated assessment on how much you want to put in. Don't go all in, right? You know, I've done it, and I'm still doing it, and I do get burnt from that. I get burnt a lot from that. But it's not got to do with my emotion or anything like this. I don't do it on all of them, by the way, right? For me, like, say, for example, I had 10 coins. I'll probably do it on 1 coin. If I really like 1 coin, I will pump whatever I've got to burn at that particular day. I'll burn it in that. For example, here's a good one, right? Base coin. If Base releases its own coin, so if I had $100 or if I had $1,000 or $10,000 on that day, I'll dump it straight in without ifs and buts. There's not going to be 2 ways about it. I'm just going to dump it straight away. However, as I said, like, out of 10, right? So out of 10 coins, if that was one of the coins, I would do that. But the other 9 coins, I'll have complete control. So even though I'm going all in, I still have control over that. because I'm not doing it on all of them. I'm not doing it all the time. So I have my methods. There's a reason to my madness. But that's how you got to look at it. But yeah, there's a few coins I'm kind of really bullish on. But yeah, and I've put a list out on Discord as well. I've talked about it. Some people will hear about new upgrades and whatnot. I don't think for me, it's got nothing to do with any of these updates or upgrades or whatever. I don't really care about any of those. The way I look at it is pretty simple. These projects have XYZ amount of $1 billion, right? Or let's just say over $1 billion already invested. And then when you go and look at the protocol, the inside of the protocol, you can see how many people are actually using it. Not account holders. I don't give a shit about account holders, right? Fake account holders. I don't give a damn about that. When some people give me a metric, they're like, oh, look how many wallets we have. Fuck the wallets. I don't give a damn about the wallets, right? Let's talk about how many people are actually using it. How many people are actually moving the funds up and down. That's what matters. So that's the kind of stuff I look at. And that's how I kind of value a project. A project that you see worth, I don't know, 500 billion, BTC, for example, it may not be 500 billion to me, but is it worth me investing? That's the value. The value is, what is it worth for you, right? Is it worth you investing in that? Have you invested enough time to do a little bit of research and to understand what this project is? And then from that point onwards, do you feel it's got value for you to invest in it? Not how much it's worth. Fuck that. That doesn't matter. None of that. It's not yours. You're not going to get a portion of that 500 billion. Let's put it this way, right? What you care about is how it's going to perform, right? If it's a good project, if it's an active project, any project that is active, that's where you're going to make money, not on dead projects, right? So other than that, like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.